Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Magnet Warrior deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck is a really nostalgic deck that can summon one of the coolest old school monsters in the form of Valkyrian the Magna Warrior, which is an insanely cool card at 3,500 and 3,850 defense. This card is insanely good and is just a really cool old school card that was actually used by Yugioh himself. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below where we have all sorts of awesome rewards you guys, like getting your name scratched in every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Valkyrian the Magna Warrior, and I actually have dropped out the entire fossil engine out of this deck, and I wanted to go a little bit more pure for this particular build. But basically what this card does is you have to, it must be first be special summoned from your hand by attributing 1 Alpha, Beta, and Gamma the Magnet Warriors from your side of the field or your hand. And it also has the ability that you contribute this card and then target 1 Alpha, Beta, Gamma in your graveyard and special summon those targets, which is really cool because it's actually the way that Yugi used to summon Slifer the Sky Dragon, which is a really cool way to actually summon it to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Berserkion the Electromagnetic Warrior, which is the new kind of retrain of the Valkyrion. But these cards actually fuse to summon your Empyrean Magnum, the superconductive battle bot, which is going to be one of your big boss monsters that you're going to be using, which is why we play 3 of each in the particular deck. But basically what this card does is it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 Alpha, the Electromagnetic Warrior, Beta, the Electromagnetic Warrior, and Gamma, the Electromagnetic Warrior from your hand or graveyard or face up from your monster zones. And you can banish 1 level 4 lower Magnet Warrior from your graveyard to target card your opponent controls and destroy it. And if this card is destroy by battle, or if this card is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you get to target 1 each of your Alpha, Beta, and Gamma Electromagnetic Warriors and special summon them, which is a pretty good effect. We then play 3 copies of Delta the Magnet Warrior. So Delta's kind of neat in the deck because Delta can help you get your Valkyrian out to your side of the field. Because if this card is normal or special summon, you get to send 1 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior from your deck to the graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 3 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monsters from your graveyard, except a Delta, and then you get to special summon 1 Valkyrian the Magnet Warrior from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is pretty cool just to instantly get you a 3,500 beat stick. We then play 3 copies of Alpha the Electromagnetic Warrior. Alpha is really good in this deck because Alpha, as soon as it's normal summon, you get to add 1 level 8 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, which is either Valkyrian or Berserkion, which is pretty cool. And it also has the ability that during your opponent's turn, you contribute this card to special summon 1 level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck, and this is a quick effect, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Beta the Electromagnetic Warrior. Beta is pretty cool too, because if this card is normal summon or special summon, then you get to add 1 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself, and you can only use the effect of Beta the Electromagnetic Warrior once per turn. And during your opponent's turn, you can contribute this card to special summon 1 level 4 or lower, or 1 level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck, and then this is a quick effect as well, which is really cool that all of your cards are quick effects. We then play 3 copies of Gamma the Electromagnetic Warrior as well. Gamma is pretty cool because Gamma has some really neat added effects. Gamma is just a really cool card overall because if this card is normal or special summon, then you get to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your hand, except another copy of itself. And you only use the effect of this card once per turn. And then during your opponent's turn, you contribute this card to special summon 1 level 4 Magnet Warrior monster in your deck, and it's a quick effect as well, which is a really good added bonus to the deck to be able to just get that effect off. We then play a single copy of Alpha the Magnet Warrior, Beta the Magnet Warrior, and a single copy of Gamma the Magnet Warrior, which is actually all Duel the Roses original promos, which we actually, if you guys want to check it out, we actually did an entire complete series of Duel the Roses, which these 3 were the promo cards over on the StaringAtGames channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to the StaringAtGames channel, you definitely should. It is down in the description below, and that is the secondary gaming channel that I actually play on a lot of different video games, which is super cool. But we actually play through Duel the Roses, which is where these cards came from, which is really an awesome game as well. But these cards are really good because they help you go into your Valkyrian, and they can be special summoned out with your copies of your Gamma, Beta, and Alpha, which is super cool. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom to round out the monsters for the main deck. These can be changed out for Nibiru's, ghost spells, depends on what you need. This card's got you for whatever you need, which is super helpful just to be able to discard. It's the most universal hand trap in the entire game outside of Effect Veiler, and it's just overall really good in the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Foolish Burial. It's going to get your exact Magnet Warrior that you need to the graveyard exactly when you need it so you can go into your particular plays. One copy of Terraforming because it's going to search your field spells that you need, which is going to be super, super helpful for this deck. 2 copies of Magnet Reverse. Now, Magnet Reverse is a really neat card because it lets you target one machine or rock monster that's banished or in your graveyard that cannot be normal summoned or set, and you instantly get to special summon it. So you can special summon out your copy of, for example, your Berserkion that's been summoned correctly, or your copy of your Valkyrion that's been summoned correctly, which is a really cool added bonus. So this card is really, really helpful in the deck. We then play a single copy of Fusion Recycling Plant. Fusion Recycling Plant lets you once per turn discard a card to add a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and then once per turn during the end phase, if you can target one of the monsters in your graveyard that was used as a fusion material, and you add it back to your hand, which is super helpful to add Berserkion back from your graveyard to your hand to get it as an additional material to be able to special summon it the next turn. We then play 3 copies of Magnetic Field. So Magnetic Field is really good. Magnetic Field lets you, if you control a level 4 or lower Earth machine or Earth rock type monster, then you can target one level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So just instantly get your monsters back from the graveyard, and it's basically a field spell version of Monster Reborn. And it also has the ability that you can only use, then you can once per turn at the end of the damage step when an Earth rock monster battles a monster your opponent controls, but the monster was not destroyed, you return that opponent's monster to the hand, which is really good just to bounce your opponent's cards as well. We then play 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren, because Ties of the Brethren is going to get your exact Magnet Warriors that you need out from the deck, and it has the ability you can pay 2,000, then target one level 4 or lower monster you control, and for the rest of the turn, you get to special summon monsters that are 2 monsters from the deck that have the same type and attribute as those monsters, but you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. And then also it has the ability that you cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate and resolve this effect. So this card is really good to be able to just get your Magnet Warriors out from your deck to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is how you're going to go into your copy of your Empyrean Magnum, which is a really powerful boss monster in the extra deck. And then we play 3 copies of Trade-In as well, because sending the copies of the cards that you don't need to the graveyard is totally fine. For example, sending your copies of your Berserkion or your copies of your Valkyrion is totally fine to send them to the graveyard, and you pretty much have 6 targets in the deck to resolve your trade-ins, but sometimes you just draw the ones you don't need. And so this card is really good just to help you get more consistency in the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the extra deck, because we don't play any traps. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Empyrean Magnum, the Superconductive Battlebot. I just don't think you need 3. You usually summon this card a maximum of 2 times. Whenever I playtest this deck, you only ever summon this card twice. I've only ever been able to push the deck into summoning this card twice, but usually when you summon it once, you win, because this card must be fusion summoned with the above fusion monsters and cannot be special summoned by other ways. And then once per turn during either player's turn, when an opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect, you can negate the activation if you destroy that card. And then if this is a card you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon both one Valkyrion and a Berserkion from your hand or deck to your side of the field, ignoring both of their summoning conditions, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Gallant Granite, because Gallant Granite is really good to special summon a rock monster in your hand and face down defense, or add a rock monster from your deck to your hand, which is really helpful. 1 copy of number 41, Baguska, because it can turn itself to defense position and just slow the game down until you can get into your battle bot, which is super nice. Tornado Dragon, because it can pop multiple cards on the field, pop spells or traps. Exile Knight, just to blow board, just in case you need to, because sometimes you just got to blow board, and this card's really nice. 1 copy of Lemonade the Sea Dragon, because you can use your level 3s to go into it and get your banished cards back, which is why I play this card as a 1 of. And then for the Link monsters that we're playing in the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Access Code, which can be interchanged out for Appaloosa, or a copy of Borrelsword or Borreload. It's up to you guys what you play in this position. If you're trying to play a budget build, Borreload or Borrelsword or Appaloosa are all very budget options to play in place of Access Code Talker. 1 copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, Phoenix to pop spells and traps. You play a single copy of Mrs. Radiant. Mrs. Radiant is really good because you can link summon to this card. It makes all your monsters that are Earth gain 500 attack, which is pretty good. And also lets you, if this card is destroyed with battle by card effects, you can target one of your Earth monsters in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is pretty nice. You play a single copy of Union Carrier because it can boost the attack of a monster by 1,000. It also can help you get your copies of your Berserkions and your copies of the particular Magnet Warriors that you need into the graveyard faster. You play a single copy of IP because it can help you go into your copy of Unicorn or access Code Talker even faster. One copy of Cross Sheep because Cross Sheep can let you revive a card from the graveyard when you fusion summon, which is super helpful for this particular deck to be able to get those cards back, which this card is just really, really good overall. And then a single copy of Anaconda because it wants Buns Hunt, and it also has the ability to be able to use the polymerization from deck. It's not super pivotal for the deck, but it's just in case you don't have a way to get to polymerization, you can use this card to be able to use polymerization with the cards in your hand. But if it does get banned eventually, it's not going to really hurt the deck all that much. So that's pretty much it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really cool deck to play with. It's super nostalgic to play a Valkyrion and Berserkion deck, where basically you're summoning one of the coolest old school cards back from the Duel Monsters era, which is one of my favorite eras. Probably is my favorite era outside of 5Ds for the entire like Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. But this card is really, really good to be able to summon to your side of the field. And then summoning Valkyrion just feels really cool. I mean, even if you don't win the duel when you summon Valkyrion to your side of the field, I mean, come on, you summon Valkyrion. Like that's just super cool to summon this card to your side of the field. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.